Welcome into a special episode of Titans Tube, and it's special because the season has finally arrived. We are getting ready to play our first game against the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday, September 11th.
So for this episode, we're going to break down the upcoming game against the Vikings, weigh the pros and the cons, tell you, who's going to do better, who's going to do worse, who's going to win. And so for this, we brought in our resident Viking expert, Jordan.
Hello.
Welcome to Titans Tube.
Yeah, good to have you on board.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Good choice.
Vikings.
Well, hold on that. I was just going to compliment you on your reading material.
Oh, yeah. Little George R. Martin.
Yeah.
Clash of Kings.
Yeah, nice guy.
I like to stay brushed up. So
not so much of a good choice on the team that you support, though.
The team,
poor
the
choice.
Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
the NFC North champions from last year.
Yeah, I hear 20-yard field goals are hard to come by these days too.
Okay.
Oops. So before we get into the breakdown of the game, let's get a little background on our Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan,
We do exist.
how did you become a Vikings fan, and why?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from South Dakota, the Rushmore State, neighboring state to Minnesota. So we aren't lucky enough to have a pro team.
So you're stealing Minnesota.
We go to our neighboring states and
does Minnesota know
teams.
that South Dakota's trying to?
Yes, so they're very okay with it.
Interesting.
Interstate 90 actually runs through both states, so we have that in common.
So who's your favorite Viking player of all time?
Oh man, where do I even start? You got Fran Tarkenton, kind of the classic legend, the Purple People Eaters, the great defense there for a while. Then that brings us in Dante Culpepper years with Randy Moss, Robert Smith, Denny Green was our coach. Oh man, those are some good years. Warren Moon.
Okay. Sorry. Let's just.
No, that's like early 2000s. I got a ways to go.
No, that's okay. No, I appreciate that.
We get the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian
Vikings
Peterson.
have had a lot of great players.
Adrian Peterson.
No. Let's start with a breakdown of the teams.
Okay.
Kind of weigh which teams have the advantages, and let's start with the quarterbacks. So we'll start with the
let's start
visiting team,
It's tough.
Vikings. So tell us about the quarterback of the Vikings right now.
It's no secret. The step that shook up the entire season, Teddy Bridgewater is out for the year.
The step heard around the world.
Step heard around the world. Yeah. It's very unfortunate. He was poised to become the face of the franchise. I mean, we're a run-first team. We're a rush-heavy team. Teddy's stats are not impressive. In fact, last year, he was ranked last in pass yards per game and threw the fewest number of touchdowns for quarterbacks who started all 16 games. It's not good. We still won the division. We still almost ended up in the Super Bowl. We were one field goal away. Oops. So I'm a little optimistic because it's not like we're losing to Tom Brady. We're not losing to Aaron Rodgers. We're a run-first team. We have great defense. So brings us to now Sam Bradford. We'll see.
We'll see how he does.
He's yet to really blow anyone's mind since he came into the NFL.
He's had a full season.
He's had injuries. It's no secret, but I think there's a lot of untapped potential there. I think as long as he can lead the team and not make mistakes, not turn the ball over, I think at the quarterback position, I feel optimistic. It's, a whole different question a week ago, but here we are.
So who are we looking at starting? Are we going to be facing Sean Hill or Sam Bradford?
The Vikings, as of today, have not made that decision. Mike Zimmer, today after practice, said it could go either way. He was asked if Sam Bradford will play. He said it's a possibility. I think it's all going to come down to how familiar Bradford can get with the offense by Sunday. And I think he'll only start if he's very confident that he can make the right play calls and be familiar enough with everything. But worst case scenario, Sean Hill starts. Maybe Bradford would come in the second half type of thing. Given the turmoil we've undergone in the last week, I think as long as whoever starts, whether it's Bradford, whether it's Hill, as long as they can come in and manage the game, like you said, and be a leader on the field and be the guy that in the huddle is people can look to, I think we'll be okay. I wish it was Teddy. I think Teddy's the future of the team. We don't have him. He'll be watching from the sidelines.
Sad.
It's unfortunate.
Heartbreaking. Well, that's a very unfortunate quarterback situation you got going on there. On the other hand, on our side of things, our quarterback situation is very fortunate because we have the savior of the franchise and of humanity. If I'm just going to go the full 9 yards, he's the savior of all of us.
Go the full 9 yards.
Marcus Mariota. Mariota has been with our team the entire offseason, and luckily he did not shatter his knee bones at all. So he will be starting our game. He's very familiar with the offense. He's going to be ready to go.
I think he's going to have a breakout sophomore year. I mean, he's got some dynamic receivers. We have a run game finally to support him, to take some pressure off his shoulders. I think the advantage is clearly with the Titans in the realm of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so advantage to the Titans in the quarterback department.
So next up on our list of breakdowns are the running backs. As you Titans fans know, we acquired 2 new running backs in the offseason, in DeMarco Murray from the Philadelphia Eagles and Derrick Henry, our second-round draft pick out of the University of Alabama. They both had an amazing preseason, but this is both their first year with the Titans, so it's kind of hard to say how it's going to pan out. Because, I mean, after all, the preseason, just a preseason. Can't put too much weight on it. But DeMarco Murray, it looks like he's back to his form that he had with the Dallas Cowboys a few years ago, where he rushed for 1,800 yards. And Derrick Henry looks like an absolute power horse, powering through defenses. Have you heard of Derrick Henry?
He sounds familiar. Is he in a rap group?
And on a scale of 1 to 100, how afraid of him are you? Any answer below 100 is incorrect.
Oh man, 6.
So with these 2 new running backs, we have a few new offensive linemen, so hopefully that chemistry is going to come together and look as good as it did in the preseason. Hopefully we can run over all of the Vikings defenders in the game. On the opposite side of things, for the Vikings, hide your children, folks, because Adrian Peterson is coming to town.
So y'all need to hide your kids.
What do you think about the Vikings' run game?
The Vikings' run game, I think, will only be better than it was last year. AP was able to lead the league in rushing last year with a hurt offensive line. We did lose 2 veterans from our offensive line in the offseason, but we also acquired some new guys. We have Alex Boone. We also picked up Andre Smith from Cincinnati, who's started the last 5 or 6 years for them. So they both have postseason experience, so I think that's only going to help Adrian Peterson's case, who again was the rush leader last year.
You don't have to keep mentioning that. There's no point.
He's maybe the greatest back of all time by some standards. And that's not to say our depth at the position. We also have Jerick McKinnon, who's shown some very promising, especially in the preseason. Looked great in the preseason. A few years back when AP was out for the year with the torn ACL, Jerick McKinnon and Matt Asiata were the duo that filled in for him. That's great. So I would say overall our rushing game was very strong last year. It's Mike Zimmer and Norv Turner are run-heavy coaches, and so I think with the success we had last year, we improved our offensive line. We still have depth. McKinnon improved in the offseason. I really like how our rushing attack looks this year.
This game, we're going to see a lot of running, because Mike Mularkey's a run-first guy, and so we're going to run the ball a lot. You guys are going to run the ball a lot, so whoever does that the best, I think, is going to come out on top.
Probably going to ultimately win the game.
So for this position, we're going to go ahead and give the edge to the Vikings, just because we know what Adrian Peterson brings, and we haven't yet seen the Titans' running attack in a real game. That means in a real meaningful game, I should say. But we all know that eventually the Titans are going to have the best tandem in the NFL. But until then, I guess we can throw you this
Advantage AP.
Advantage AP. For now.
I guess.
Reluctantly. Next area that we're going to discuss is the passing game. So who has the better edge on wide receivers and tight ends? For the Titans, we know we've got the ballinest tight end in the league, Delaney Walker. He's going to be Delaney Walker, most reliable dude in the NFL. And for our receivers, I mean, obviously we have a ton of new faces, so we don't know really what we're going to be getting from them, but they do have Mariota thrown to them. Obviously that's going to help with Tajay Sharp and Rashard Matthews and Andre Johnson are probably going to be our key receivers for this game. Not sure if we're going to have Kendall Wright yet. He's still having that hamstring issue. But yeah, a lot of potential there, but we just don't really know what we're going to get until we get that first game played. So yeah, what should we be looking for out of the Vikings in the receiving game?
Vikings receiving core is looking good this year. We have Stephon Diggs, who was our leader last season. Rookie season last year, had a breakout year, had over 700 yards receiving, had a good amount of touchdowns. We drafted Laquan Treadwell from Ole Miss, who's a very strong physical receiver. Should be great in the red zone. So hopefully between him and Stephon Diggs, we have good threats there. We also have Charles Johnson coming back, who was plagued with injuries last year. Looked great the year before that. So hopefully we'll have him at 100%. We have Jarius Wright, who looked good in stretches last year. And also Cordero Patterson is the big question mark.
It's a familiar name.
Had a great rookie season.
Played at UT.
Played at UT, of course. Had a great rookie season. Hasn't shown much since then. The coaches have praised his work ethic in the offseason, which in my opinion has been his biggest issue. With the amount of weapons we have, if Stephon Diggs can cement himself as a go-to receiver for either Bradford or Hill, bring in Treadwell, bring in Johnson, bring in Wright. We're still very young, but I think we're poised to really have a solid receiving core. And not to mention Kyle Rudolph at tight end. It's hard to say who's going to break out. If Diggs can repeat the magic he had in his rookie season, I think we'll be in really good shape. Or we could see someone else emerge.
So there's a lot of young talent there too, a lot of potential.
A lot of potential.
Kind of the same situation that the Titans are in.
But the key thing about the passing game and the receiving game is someone has to be throwing them the ball. And so
Very true.
while the Vikings may have a little more talent and weapons in their receiving core, I think the Titans get the advantage of this one just because of the quarterback position once again.
That's
Don't
fair.
argue.
I understand.
Don't
I
argue.
understand.
Shh.
You guys
Just
are
stop.
so. This is very
Hey,
rational
hey,
what you're saying.
Do you want to
So
leave?
just, I'm
You
agreeing.
can leave.
Is it? How do I get out of here?
I don't really
Don't
know.
touch that.
So last up in our game breakdown, we're going to be covering the defenses. So tell us a little bit about the Vikings defense, or lack thereof.
Oh, lack thereof. The 5th-ranked defense from last season, yeah. So it's led by young Pro Bowlers, Harrison Smith and Anthony Barr, who are emerging as team leaders, no
Hey,
doubt.
Pro Bowlers.
We've added depth basically across the board in our secondary. Our two rookies actually led the team in tackles in the preseason, have looked very promising in camp. Our linebacker core, like I said, led by Anthony Barr, and then we have to anchor that position Chad Greenway in his 11th year, who is from the great state of South Dakota, may I add.
I'm like the only other person.
And we've basically just added depth across the board. We also have a couple young defensive backs who could really make a difference this year for us. So an already good defense, in my opinion, got better.
On to the Titans defense. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little worried. You know, our starting defense did not play that well in the preseason. We gave up a touchdown on the opening possession of every single game except for the last one.
But still, it's just preseason, am I right?
Yeah,
it's just the preseason.
We could come on strong first game of the year.
We could, but there was reason to worry.
That's true. I think the biggest weak spot is our defensive backs. I think our cornerback play struggled. There was a few 3rd and long situations that our defense just gave up on the play. Our front 7, I think, is strong. We're going to get some good run support. So hopefully Kevin Dottle will come through, and Brian Arakpo and Jarrell Casey and Derek Morgan will do their thing and get after the quarterback. And if they can do that, I think our defense will be strong.
I mean, we're returning our own Pro Bowler in Jarrell Casey.
Yeah, talk about Pro Bowl.
Yeah, we're talking about Pro Bowl.
Just one?
Having said that, though, unfortunately, I hate to admit that I think the Vikings defense may have a slight advantage in this game, just based on how well they played last year. And like you said, improving this year. Man, I can't wait to
I
the
just
Titans
dabbed on your show. After this game, I become a Titans fan because Titans are AFC, Vikings NFC. So as long as we're not playing each other, in my opinion, we'll see each other again in the Super Bowl.
True.
Okay.
After this game, we
So-
really don't have to give a crap about the Vikings until the Super Bowl.
Until we see
Exactly.
y'all in the Super Bowl.
So, those are each of our breakdowns at each position. So, for overall, who's going to win? I am going to have to go with the Titans on this one.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe the Vikings have the advantage in some categories, like their defense is a little stronger and their running game and just their overall experience. But honestly, and it's just bad luck and bad timing with Teddy Bridgewater going down, I just don't see him standing a chance with our experience as with Marcus Mariota and our new identity in our run game. So I'm going to go Titans 24-7 over the Vikings this Sunday.
Oh,
Saying Vikings just can't get it going on offense. Just can't get it going.
Bold, sir.
Even with AP.
Bold.
For my prediction, first of all, I agree with a lot of the things that you said. I think the Vikings have an edge in a few categories, but the Titans have a few edges of their own. But need I remind you that this is week 1, and that is the Titans Super Bowl. That is when we play our best football, so you caught us at a bad time. We like blowing out teams, playoff teams, in the first week of the season. So for my score prediction, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a harder fought game than what than what you gave. I think it's going to be more like a 20-17 game. It's going to come down to a field goal, and as we all know, the Vikings choke when the game is on the line with field goals.
Oops.
So now for your worthless prediction.
I'm not going to pretend like it's not a tall order for us. Like we don't have a lot going on behind the scenes. That's going to make it a very difficult week 1. The quarterback position is a big question mark, but I think AP is going to come in and be a leader of the team. I think he's going to put the team on his shoulders. I think the defense is going to step up big time. I realize it's going to be tough to come into your home stadium, season opener, home opener. But again, I think we are going to lean on our strengths from last season and our rushing game and our defense. I think whoever starts at quarterback is going to, as long as they can manage the game, I think the better team is going to win. And that team, my friends, is the Minnesota Vikings, winning 21-17.
Ooh, that was hard to listen to.
Yeah. Are you done? Is it over?
I think I'm done.
So it seems as though we cannot come to a consensus on who's going to win this ball game in week 1. So that leaves us no choice but to call upon the Madden gods and to play a game of Madden between the Titans and the Vikings to determine who is the better football team.
It's on.
It's on.
It's on.